Hi, everyone. Good evening. Tonight, self-talk. We're going to talk to Mrs. Gina O'Neill. And we are friends slash sisters through New Size Zeta chapter in Peekskill, New York. That's how we met. And we, branch our relationship out. And I wanted to interview her because she is a talented, multi-talented. She do a lot of things. And her slogan is she got somebody for she knows somebody. And so she is a network. She is a networker. She knows everyone. You think of something, you want something, she's the person to reach out to. So this entire episode is going to be about how do you plant the seed to do what you want to do, and are you doing what you love? Miss O'Neill, please introduce yourself.
Well, hello. Like you said, my name is Mrs. Gina O'Neill. I am excited to be a part of the SELF program. I've heard so many wonderful things, and I am always a person that's about inspiring women, especially women that look like me. So I'm just excited to be here and share this time with you, Alecia.
Okay, good. So let me ask you one question. If you could choose any career and money wasn't an issue, what career would that be?
I believe if I could rewind the hands of time, I think I would have probably went into nursing. I know that my spiritual gift is, I think God gave me hands for helping and for service. Yes. So that would be something that I would have looked more into at a younger age. If I could turn back the hands of time, I think that's something I'd be interested in.
Okay, so tell us, what do you actually do?
So I am a procurement specialist and a contract administrator for the United States Courts of Appeals and for the Ninth Circuit. So I am a lead buyer. I shop for a living for 5 flagship courthouses in Hawaii, Seattle, Omaha, Nebraska, Ohio, California. So we have 5 flagship courthouses and 20 sites. I procure the courtrooms and judges' chambers for over 50 federal judges that are appointed by the president for lifetime terms. So that is basically what I do for the country and for the United States.
Wow, very impressed. I'm very impressed. Wow, I'm overwhelmed, a little speechless. So let me bring myself back down. So is this something you wanted to do? How did you end up in this line of work? How did you get there?
I fell into it. I tell people I fell into it and then I fell in love with it. So my background is, my master's degree is in human service with a concentration of counseling, marriage and family counseling. I love to study and work with people in human behavior. So that was, where I started out. And then I started working in higher ed. I started at Rowan University in the math department. And, I just fell in love with math. I fell in love with numbers. And I ended up going from math into finance, into accounting. And I started working kind of part-time in the procurement department. And then I worked my way up from a program assistant to a lead contracting officer. So that's kind of how I grew in the career. And I learned that a lot of my skills that I learned in the human services side and the social work side, because I'm a social scientist at heart, I use in my everyday life, working with the court system, working with the judiciary, working with the courts, working with the judges. A lot of those skills that, they're human beings and they have families and they're stressed and they're tired, and just having those skills of communication has benefited me in this career as well. So
wow, you did a lot of transition. So wait a minute.
Yes.
So you wanted to be, if you could go back, you want to be a nurse, but I know it's everything with you is service, definitely
Everything service.
service.
Mhm.
So you're counselor, marriage
Mhm.
counselor,
Mhm.
family counselor.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're supposed to be counseling people. I'm gonna have to utilize you in other way.
Yeah.
That's another part of your skill. So
Mhm.
you're a counselor, and how did you end up? How did you? Okay, and then you went from counseling to math, from math to finance.
Yes.
Okay, so
So
I'm a little. Help me here. Help me.
okay, let's take it back. My ride it's still changing. It's a journey, but I roll with the punches. So how it all started is I went to school, went to college, Virginia State University. I started there in psychology. And
Yeah.
my dream was I wanted to be a forensic psychologist when I was
Yes.
younger. That's where I started out. Life did not take me that way.
Yes.
So I got into, as I was doing my internships and growing in my degree and just going through my academics, I got into social work. So I was a case manager at a homeless shelter, just working with single women with children in a shelter setting. And that's kind of where I started into the counseling track. So then I said, I wanted to get a master's degree in counseling so that, I could work and the counseling arena. So that's where I started. And I did that for a while. And then I transitioned into higher ed, working at Rowan University. So when you work at a university setting, you meet a lot of people. You're surrounded by different colleges and different people and doing different things. So I left the social work area and started working as like a program assistant for a teaching program in math. And what they did was they were trying to diversify the department. And they were working in urban neighborhoods, trying to educate teachers to have them work in urban neighborhoods. And then, they would get money off their degrees and, be able to go to school if they worked in that field, in that school district for at least 3 to 4 years. So I was working with that program for a while. Unfortunately, that program was grant funded. So the last 6 months, the grant was going to run out. So it was a grant in like STEM. That's when STEM was just getting exciting and people were doing things in math and sciences. So that's when I transitioned from working with so many of the different directors on campus into the procurement department. And then I fell in love with that, was there for like 8-9 years.
Okay.
And I did that for a while. And then I had the opportunity to fall in love and marry a wonderful New York City police officer, which moved me here and changed my job.
Okay. So this is where I tell people all the time, when you have a dream and things happen, we can't be so narrow-minded, because if we're narrow, that the dream has to be blue. Opportunity will come in different colors. It might not be blue. And we're so focused on blue that the opportunity came, but it was yellow. And it went right by us because we're set bent. It's this color. And so it sounded like to me, your mind was open. Your mind was open, that you knew that you were going this route, but then you were flexible.
Yes.
Flexible, and that allow you to move, but strategically.
Yeah. Well, what's good is that being a social scientist at heart, I'm always about, like you said earlier, connecting people. And how I got into the arena of procurement was, I've worked for the state university, as a state-run university, and now I work for the federal government. And I would see people come to these bid openings and working with the state, and none of them look like me. And in one aspect, there was a situation where the secretary, an older gentleman, came in, and the secretary said, "Oh, Jim, like, how's the kids and the grandkids?" So I'm thinking, like, how long has Jim been getting this construction bid that his kids and his grandkids? And so what I did was, when I, all I need is one of us to get a seat at the table. If one of us can get in the table, we can open the door for 10 others, you know? So once I got in, I started going around to in the community in Philly, and I was meeting Black women-owned construction companies, Black women-owned scientists, Black women-owned engineers, you know, minority programs, minority restaurants. And what I was doing was pulling them into the university setting. Hey, I know a friend. Hey, I have a company. And that's kind of what I start connecting.
That is your nickname. And you earned it.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, I was like the head of supplier diversity and inclusion. Before the supplier diversity inclusion was like a target word, you know. So it was just like, you know, I thought that there was a lot of grant money out there. There was a lot of money out there as far as the university setting. And now for the federal government, I try to do the same thing. If I can find a small business, if I can find a woman-owned business, you know, I try to diversify and throw business their way. So
I'm glad you're in the field. I'm glad you where you are, because you are definitely a supporter. You're definitely someone we want and need where you are. And God put people into place where you see fit. So another question I want to ask you, how do you balance family and work? And you're doing a lot of that activity, your sorority, you know, your sisterhood. How do you balance these things?
It can be tough. I enjoy it, and you know, I try to schedule things as much as possible. But yeah, I work full time. I have two beautiful boys. I'm a part of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I'm a part of spouses for the McGuire Air Force Dips Air Force Base. You know, so we're a part of a motorcycle program. We have a lot of different programs, but we try to make sure that we put our family first and we put that family time in. That's definitely important. Nothing comes before raising my children. So if we're in the middle of homework time, but the phone's ringing, that has to wait. Let me work on that. So I think just prioritizing things in your life and not feeling guilty for it. That is very important. And I make that very clear in every single aspect of every single area of opportunity that I have, or any program I'm in, with my job, my friends. Everyone knows my family, my children, they come absolutely first. And then I will prioritize their, you know, from there. And I don't feel guilty for that. Sometimes I might be at the birthday party. Sometimes I have to miss the birthday party or the, you know, the girls' night or this. So that's definitely just prioritizing. And I make time for myself as well.
Thank you. I'm about to ask that question. Self-love is important, and self-rejuvenation. You got to rejuvenate your energy.
Today, I'm like, I'm going to go get my nails done. Phone goes off, you know, husband's doing homework time. I'm going to go and have this hour to myself. Because if not, sometimes if you're giving so much of yourself, you're not pouring into yourself. So I try to definitely take that time. That's the second thing. And then the third thing I do is I look in the mirror and I realize that God just asked us to do our best. That's it. God never asked us to be the perfect mom. He didn't ask us to have the perfect house. He didn't ask us to have, if I get up in the morning and I know that I looked at myself and I tried my best that day, I'm satisfied with that.
Good. I'm happy. So one question, as a child, did you see yourself where you are today? Did you have that vision? Did someone plant the seed for the college and the journey? Because it seemed like you are a person, you know what you want and you go for it. And there's no, maybe there's hesitation, but from listening to you, there might have been hesitation, but it's only hesitation like, should I go left or right? But you're going. You're going to move. It's just a matter of what direction. So how was that seed planted? How did it get there for you to be who you are today? You blossom into this person.
I think that was the hardest thing. I am trying to create a life for myself and my boys that I've never seen. I'm a first generation college student. I grew up during the crack epidemic. My father was a addict. My stepfather was an alcoholic. My mother was a single mother, an abusive, very abusive relationship. One of my first memories as a child was 3 years old, seeing my mother be thrown down a flight of stairs. So I'm creating a life of, marriage and kids and house, and just trying to create something that I never had the opportunity to live as a child. So it's not learning always from what I know. It's trying to learn to not create what I know. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
The change, yeah, it has to. I'm trying to break generational curses. One thing that I'm great that I had is a supportive mother. When I told her I wanted to go to college, she was scared to death because that wasn't a word that was used in her community. That wasn't that was like, what? You want to do what? But I saw the opportunities, and I'm a person that if you crack the door, I'm gonna push it open. All I need is if you give me a little bit, I'm gonna try to get through it. So that was what what I'm trying to do. And I still struggle. I struggle with it every day, just trying to, am I doing it the right way? Because it's hard when you're trying to get somewhere and you don't always have a roadmap, but I just know what I didn't want from my children or myself. So
intuition tell you,
yeah,
there's no actual map for anyone, because you can have 5 people that lawyer, but they all took different paths. They
right.
all came from different places, and so their journey is going to be completely different. Some of them, like yourself, is going through new charter. They're creating that path as they get there, because as you said, it wasn't laid out for them. There wasn't a track saying, okay, Aunt Susie did it. This is the route to take. She's going to help you fill out the form. She's going to tell you to do this and that. Okay, we're doing this for the first time. Okay, let's figure this out together. And as you going forward, you're like, okay, learn. And, I understand that because my family, I wasn't born here. I was born in Jamaica. And so when we came here, there was a lot of things new to us, especially to our family.
Right.
And so I understand that creating things for the first time. And so as a child, you didn't, based on where you're from, are you surprised where you are today?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just that girl from Camden, New Jersey, the worst place to live in America.
Okay, I'm not. Campton is bad?
Look it up.
Okay.
But I am. But I had a praying grandmother. I have a praying mother. I have a supportive mother that may not have. Oh, you know my mother. You know my mother.
Oh my God, y'all look like sister. Your mom is so gorgeous. Oh my God, she is so warm. Your personality is your mom person, or rather, you have your mom personality. Y'all are so warm.
And she may not have known everything, but she was me, I think, but the generation before me. So she did the best she could with what she had. So I feel like if I take one step further with what she gave me into mine, then, we can go from there. But yeah, I had a mom that was like, I don't know, but like you said, let's work this out. Let's do this together. This sounds like a good idea. So let's do this together. So yeah, that's what, I'm surprised every day. And I was also very fortunate that I have a wonderful husband. He's an awesome support system for me. And I tell people all the time, I never knew that a man could help me be a more stronger, confident, independent woman. But he does, he really encourages me to just be a strong woman, to be more outspoken, to say how I feel. You from Jamaica, so I don't know if it's the West Indian. He's from Trinidad, so he's
I'm very
those family values that I didn't have growing up, his family has. So he's very strong with just being a leader of a household and having organization in our household and loving us. And that was always something that I didn't always see men do. So that has definitely, helped me be who I am. And, hopefully it'll help, mold my boys as well.
I'm sure. I'm positive with you there, knowing what you've seen and where you are today. So what are your plans for your future? Because you got the world in front of you. What is where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Well, before I got pregnant with Mikey, I had just got accepted to the PhD program in educational leadership. So I was looking into that. So I'm thinking maybe we'll get back into that. We've talked about real estate. We're looking at that. But I'm one of those people. I feel like the only thing that's consistent in the world is change. So whatever happens, I'll just be along for the ride, and I'm open and ready for it. I just want to see what the world has for me, and what God has for me is for me. So
I love it. I like the fact that you're very flexible and open. I think that's important for growth. Being rigid, being, stick to your guns, but a lot of people don't give themselves that wiggle room to shift as they grow. If the growth is not upward all the time, sometimes lateral is just as good as upward. And I did the right there, think lateral. Okay, you know what I mean? Lateral, vertical. So I feel people realize that you don't have to always go upward. You can go across, you can do a lateral move, change of position, change of knowledge that just broaden your base.
well, you know where that came from, Alecia. You know where that came from. Let's be real. Let's not be warm and fuzzy. This is my second marriage.
Okay.
I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like for the bank account to be like, I was one of the people that when I first graduated college, I had this plan, and I was dead set. I will do this by this time, and I'm going to have this house, and I'm going to have, the perfect marriage, and I'm going to have all these great things. And the world imploded under me. A divorce happened, a job mishap happened, poverty happened, single mom happened, all these things within 6-7 years ago happened. And I realized at that point, I tell people all the time, they laugh. The only advice that I had as I'm sitting in my house with a 4-year-old baby, with a broken heater, 30 degrees outside, with $4 in my pocket, the movie Finding Nemo came on, and I see this little fish, and the little fish just said, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep going. It may not look right, just keep going. If we get to tomorrow, we'll get to the next day. And I just kept that. I held on to that. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep swimming. It ain't going to be perfect. And then from then I just started building the building blocks back together. But I would say the success that I found lately came from a major failure. So you can't be scared to fail. You can't be scared to fail, and I think that having my life blow up like that made me realize that it's not always going to be the way you plan it to be. But that's when God does his best work.
Yes.
When you let him take control and let him do his thing, because we think we have it together. And he's like, no. It's a mess.
We don't. God is in control. And I like that. I like the fact that, sometimes, and that's where the flexibility comes in, being open. Sometimes we're so rigid that we don't see what's happening. And when it happens, it throws us off guard. And then we relax. And when we relax and not being so rigid and we'll open ourselves up, opportunity to just sit there and look at us.
Yeah.
This wasn't what I was expecting, but wow, it still get me where I want to go.
Right.
And it looks a little different than what I started out, but at the end of the day, it still gives me that same fuzzy feeling, and it's still doing the same thing I want to do. I'm still serving.
Right.
And, I like that. I like the fact that, first of all, I like the fact that you were open and sharing with us. So I appreciate that very much, because not everyone wants to be that transparent. So I appreciate that. But I think for anyone listening, it let people know that it's okay. There's no such thing as getting up and just walking. Well, maybe for some people, you get up, you go to school, everything is just a boom, boom, black and white, boom, boom, just in order. 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, go on, boom, VP and president, and you're married.
Yeah.
2 kids, 2 cars, dog and cat, some pigs in the backyard. I don't know. Whatever comes with that, white picket fence or maybe chain link fence. I don't know.
Yeah.
change it around a little bit, and voila, not a
Right.
bruise, not a scuff. No, that's not life.
Mm-mm.
I don't care how
No.
wealthy you are. There's bumps, there's detours, and that's what I wanted to show people, that the ride for success is a very bumpy road with a lot of detours, a lot of stop signs, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
detour, a lot of under construction,
Yes.
delay process. Okay, the speed bump tell you, please slow down at this point in time. We're coming up, the bridge is up, you gotta wait for the bridge to go back down. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally, when you get across the bridge, this is what I drive here for.
Yeah, right. Where am I going?
Is this the right address? I
Yep.
don't
Mm-hmm.
let me check again. Is this the right place? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walk in, oh wow, it didn't look like that from the outside.
Yep.
Outside does not reflect what the inside looked like. And you go
Right.
inside, you're like, I'm amazed. Wow. I'm glad I didn't stop and knock on that door.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful. So, what would you tell young people or anyone going through changes right now? They're at a point in their life where they want to grow, but they're scared to move forward. There's a lot of uncertainty in their life, but they want to move, but they're kind of stuck.
Mm.
What would you tell that person from your perspective? Because you seem like you had a lot of bumps and detours.
I did. I would tell that person to two things. Number one, trust yourself. We talk to ourselves. When you hear that little voice inside you that says to move, move, and be okay with the outcome. Like you said, when you first make that decision, it may not be beautiful at first. Sometimes you have to put work in this thing called life. Everything's not going to be rosy. And I think the generation where we are now, everybody wants microwave life. You want to throw it in and perfection pop up. You go to school, come out and say you got a $600,000 house. No, you got to be willing to put in the work and put in the time that it takes. If you want something, work for it. And know that it may not be easy and it may not come fast, but just keep swimming. Just be consistent. I tell the students when I worked at higher ed all the time, college success is not about intelligence. It's about persistence. Show up, do your thing, come every day, show up. That's all it's about. And just keep trying. And the next thing is that surround yourself with people. I'm gonna say person with women that you can vibe from, that's something that you want to be around. I always tell people you'll never see an eagle and a pigeon hanging out. You're never going to see
it. I like that.
You're never going to see an eagle and pigeon hanging out together. It just will never happen. If you want to fly with an eagle, surround yourself with eagles, because when you surround yourself with a woman that you can potentially grow from, just her presence, just being around her, you can't stay around roses all day and smell like roses and not smell like roses. You're gonna start gaining some knowledge from that person. So surround yourself with people you inspire to be, and surround yourself with good, strong, positive people. That is so important.
Yes,
especially that they are positive and they're gonna pour into you, and they're gonna be honest with you. If you are not about to make a bad decision, you need that friend that's going to say, with love, honey, maybe that's not the best.
That's not going for you. That's not you. Step back for give it a couple of days. Step back for a minute and just take a good look. Take that emotion out of it and put the logic on, and just step back and take a look.
And step back. That positive energy, sometimes they don't have to say nothing, and you just surrounded by that energy, and it's addictive. It's going to help you grow. And that works opposite too. If you surround yourself with negativity, you surround yourself with jealousy, you surround yourself with cattiness, you're never going to be happy, because you're around people that are unhappy. So I went through a stage in my life where everything was positive, people, places, and things. I watched positive TV. I listened to I was listening to country music for like 6 months because in country music, it was all about like, it was all about loving your woman and all this like country, like happy stuff. It was so corny, but it was positive.
I love classical music. I love a variety of music. I love something that can brings me up or calm me down. And every different music do something different, but I do like positive music. And I really watch TV in my house.
Right.
Not anything against TV, but when I come in from work, I just like my space to be clear and clean.
Yes.
For me
It's
anyway.
important.
And to me, that's very rejuvenated. My energy I get to replenish my energy. That's very important to me. And so one question, through your journey, has your decision been based on your heart for the job or money or both?
I would say it changed. Before I had children, it was more of just my heart. I want to help people. I want to, after I had children and I was responsible for feeding them every day.
Yeah, they got to eat.
Money and convenience and how it affected my lifestyle and how it affected the schedule, all of those things played a part because now I have this big responsibility. So, like you said, if I was going to speak to young people, when you're young, do what you have, do what you have to do. So that way, when you get a little bit older and grow in your career a little bit, you can do what you want to do. When you're younger, you kind of got to grind out a little bit more and you go into class and you work in long hours and, but when you get a little bit older, you got to, you're picking your job, can you pick up the kids from school and what time is this? And, working 2 and 3 jobs back to back may not work when you got little ones. So, yeah, all that played a fact, hence is why I work from home now.
And oh my God bless you. I love COVID. If nothing else, COVID allowed me to reclaim my quality of life.
Yes.
It allowed me to reclaim it and just appreciate it more. I've always wanted to work from home, but my position didn't allow me. But what it did, in most places, necessity. When everybody was home, we found a way to make it work, and management was acceptant of it because they had no choice.
Yes.
Because before, when we mentioned it, be like, what for? There's no need to. So necessity allowed us to be creative. And so my staff and I was able to work from home. But that's a beautiful thing to be able to work from home. My dear, it was been a pleasure talking to you. And within this short time of our conversation, I've learned so much more about you. I mean, I know you, but it's a different when you have that one-on-one conversation.
Definitely.
You get a different vibe. And the vibe always been positive. Don't forget, somebody. But
yeah,
no, but
because you're saying, well, podcast, I was gonna say, I know somebody. Lady.
But yeah, I'm gonna tell you, send some other women over this way, because with this podcast, for me, you're the second individual I've interviewed and I'm loving it. It's just about sharing the journey.
Yeah.
The journey for us based on where we're coming from. My kids are first generation to born in this country, and I'm first. My siblings and I are, we all went to college together. My mother and father, that wasn't even thought of, even think of. When we got out of high school, they didn't mention college to us. It wasn't a thought for them to go. The next step is college,
right?
But we all took different paths. My sibling, but we all end up with our degree. My sister went to the Army. My brother went in the Air Force. I started school, got pregnant, But at the end of the day, we all went to college, and we did it differently. All came from the same parents, but our route is different. Even though we came from the same house, we did it different. And I think that's amazing. So many times when you have siblings, people expect, because you in the same household, everybody take things differently. and they respond differently. And the outcome can be different, even though they start from the same root.
Yes, very much so. We could talk about me and my brother. You would need a whole nother hour.
So, so that tells you right there, it's not necessarily where you're from, but you yourself. So that lead me to believe from a little girl, you wanted more. You always wanted more, and you planted that seed. And I'm getting that seed is based by the things you see that you didn't like and the things you saw that you like. So I'm going to wrap it up. I want to ask this last question. Sure. What did you see as a child that you like, that you know that college is the way to go to get it?
What did I see? I saw other people that I went to school with, or you know how I had friends and their parents would pick us up and they had like the nice car, and I had this thing. It was crazy. My one friend had a pantry. That just blew my mind, with like different snacks. And now keep in mind, we had things, if we had chicken, but like to open the pantry and have like cookies and this and that. And I said, I want a pantry. It was like weird stuff. So it was just seeing people in my environment. And one thing about what I really commend my mother for is that she always kept us in, like, well, me anyway, in sports and activities. So we may not have had a lot, but she always made sure that I interacted with people that were experiencing things and having things and going places. So I got a little taste of that. And then, she tried to position me the best she could with what she had. And, I just took it. I saw that she was opening the door, and I seen that she was sacrificing to make those things happen. Being a single mom and trying to, that first year getting your kid off this college and you're trying to buy all this stuff. And, I knew she had to be scared to death. Yes. she did it. And I just said, and it was funny, at my graduation, she said, you paid me back in full. Cause I said, one day I'm gonna pay you back for all this. Like, I don't know how, but, I saw what she was doing and how it could not have been easy, but she was doing it. And I never wanted to waste that opportunity. Any opportunity she gave me, I never wanted to waste it. So I think that's, and I always wanted to make her proud. You know how my mom is. She's a straight shooter.
I love your mom. She is, I'm telling you, your mom, her energy, her present, her smile, you got the same smile. Her smile is so beautiful and so welcoming. When I look at your mom, I'm like, oh my God, she makes me smile. See, I look at, and I just start. Yes. It's automatic. It comes up. And you too, when that smile just make you want to participate unknowingly. Yep. You just start smiling. And that's the kind of people I want to be around. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're wrapping it up. Another talk, self-talk. And we went through the journey of Mrs. Gina O'Neil. Superstar.
Thank you, sis.
I love your journey, and I hope to have you back.
Yes.
I hope to have you back. So everyone, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. My company name is Survivor Empower Life Coach Financial. I'm a certified life coach. I work with individual moving from point A to point D or even Z. And my specialty is working with individual in a toxic relationship who wants to leave. And if they choose not to leave, I help them to love themselves so they can make that decision that will benefit them, whatever that might look like. And come on over. I have a podcast too, Self-Discovery. You'll love it. Bye, everyone.
Love you. Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure, my dear.